You might be doing everything that the experts say is smart, but those same habits could be the reason your business is stuck and your bank account is flatlining. What if the things that look productive are actually keeping you broke? Because here's the truth. The world's definition of smart isn't always the same as God's definition of wise. And what looks efficient in business can quietly sabotage your progress if it's not built on the right foundation. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 common habits that look smart on the surface, but are silently holding your business back. And more importantly, I'll show you what to replace them with, so your effort actually leads to traction and not just exhaustion. My name is Kyle White, and after owning well over 100 properties and running a successful real estate business, I spent thousands of hours coaching business owners just like yourself on how to grow their businesses with clarity and peace. And what I've learned is simple. It's not the big mistakes that keep people most broke. It's the smart habits they never question. So let's fix that. But before we jump in, if this message kind of hits home with you, I've got a free resource called the 12 Laws of Faith-Driven Success. It's a quick, powerful guide that shows you how to grow your business with profit and peace, God's way, not the world's way. You can grab it free. I'll put a link right in the description. So let's dive into this now. Let's start with one of the sneakiest habits of all time, over planning. You feel productive because you're always preparing, organizing, and strategizing. But deep down, you know you're stuck in a loop of motion without momentum. You've got color-coded calendars, you got detailed spreadsheets, you got a 90-day plan, and probably 3 different notebooks full of great ideas, but none of it is turning into actual movement in your business. And here's the crazy part. The more you plan, the safer you feel, because planning gives the illusion of control. But God didn't call you to build the perfect plans. He called you to take faithful steps. There's nothing wrong with structure, because planning is very, very wise. But when you start worshiping the plan instead of following God's prompt to move forward, you get paralyzed. You tell yourself you're not quite ready. You need one more piece of information. You're waiting for the right timing, the right team, or the right confidence. But here's the truth. Clarity does not come from planning. It comes from obedience. Just like in James 2:26, where it says, faith without works is dead, a very common verse. That means at some point, you need to stop planning and you need to start acting. I've seen this so many times. Entrepreneurs with huge potential spending weeks perfecting their systems, but never launching it. They confuse preparation with progress. But there's a big difference between getting ready and getting results. And what usually drives this habit is not laziness. It's fear. Fear of failure, fear of imperfection, fear of looking foolish if it doesn't work. So they plan themselves into paralysis, always busy, but they're never building anything. And if that's you, here's how to break that habit right now. Step number 1 is shrink your loop. Stop planning 6 months out. Start planning for the next 7 days only. The shorter your planning window, the shorter your loop, the faster you're going to take action. Number 2, decide, then adjust. Don't wait until it's perfect. Move now, then refine it. God can steer a moving ship, but not one that's anchored in fear. And number 3, schedule execution time. Very important. You need to own your calendar. You need to literally block off time in your calendar called build, launch, call, whatever it is for you. Because if you don't protect time to act, planning will always win by default. So here's the bottom line. The longer you wait for perfect clarity, the further you drift from divine direction. God can bless motion, but he can't multiply hesitation. So stop planning for someday and start moving with faith today. So for habit number 2, now that you've stopped over planning, let's talk about the next smart habit that can quietly keep your business broke. Saying yes to everything. On paper, it looks like the right thing to do. Every entrepreneur wants to grow, to expand, and take advantage of every open door. But not every opportunity is God's opportunity. In fact, sometimes the biggest threat to your calling isn't failure, it's distraction. You say yes to the extra project because it pays well. You say yes to the partnership because it could lead to more exposure. You say yes to that new strategy because everyone else is doing it. But before you know it, your calendar is full, your energy is gone, and your mission is blurry. What started as ambition turns into anxiety. You're stretched thin, overcommitted, and underfocused. And you call it hustle, but in reality, it's disobedience disguised as productivity. Because here's the truth. Every yes that you give costs you something. Time, energy, focus, maybe even peace. So here's the key. When you know your assignment, distraction becomes obvious. You stop saying yes out of fear of missing out, and you start saying no out of faith in your purpose. I remember a season early in my career when I said yes to everything. I was flipping homes, running a real estate team. I was coaching agents. I was investing in side projects. And on the surface, it looked like success. But behind the scenes, I was absolutely fried. Half my attention was everywhere, and the business was plateauing. The problem wasn't effort, it was focus. Because your effectiveness doesn't depend on how much you do. It depends on how aligned you are with what you're doing. If you want your business to grow, you have to stop treating everything as an open door. Sometimes God closes doors to protect you from something that would have drained you. So how do you build the right discipline to say no, especially when something looks good on paper? Number 1, it's the mission filter. Ask yourself this. Does this move me closer to my God-given assignment? If it doesn't, then it's just a distraction and you need to get rid of it, even if it's profitable. Number 2 is the peace filter. If you lose peace the moment you say yes, pay attention. God leads you through peace, not through pressure. Colossians 3:15 says this, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. That's in business as well. Number 3 is the capacity filter. Just because you can does not mean that you should. Every yes requires energy. So you need to ask yourself this question. Do I have the margin to do this with excellence? When you start filtering your opportunities through your mission, peace, and capacity, you'll notice something powerful. You'll do less, but you'll accomplish more. Because every no you give to distraction becomes a yes to your destiny. So here's the bottom line. Focus builds momentum. Distraction is going to kill it. Stop chasing every door that opens and start walking confidently through the ones that God has assigned to you. Habit number 3, prioritizing revenue over relationships. Now let's be real. Money matters in your business. You need it to grow, to pay your team, and to provide for your family. But when revenue becomes more important than the relationships you're building, that's when growth stops being healthy. It happens slowly. You start measuring success only by numbers. How many clients, how many deals, how many dollars? And before long, people become metrics instead of ministry. You stop seeing customers as humans to serve and start seeing them as a transaction to close. You stop checking in because you care. You start checking in because you need the sale. It's not that you don't care about people deep down inside, because we know that you do, but pressure changes priorities. When cash flow gets tight, compassion is often the first thing to go. And I've seen it happen. Entrepreneurs who once built their brand on serving others start chasing small wins. They cut corners. They take deals they know aren't right. They start working for more money instead of working through purpose. And here's the irony. The more they chase money, the more it runs from them. Because money follows value, and value comes from trust. When people trust you, they buy from you, they refer you, and they partner with you long term. When they don't, you're stuck constantly hustling for the next sale. And the Bible puts it perfectly in Proverbs 22:1. A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed, to be raised up, is better than silver or gold. That verse isn't just poetic, it's practical business strategy. Reputation compounds faster than revenue. Your relationships are your greatest asset, not your ads, not your funnels, not your brand. If you protect those relationships, your business will never dry up. At the end of the day, your business should serve people, not use them. You can build kingdom impact with worldly motives. So how do you make sure relationships always come before revenue? Number 1, measure trust, not just transactions. Track repeat clients, referrals, and reviews. They tell you more about your business health than any sales graph ever could. Serve people before you sell. Offer value before asking for the business. Pray for your clients. Encourage them. Be the kind of leader people want to buy from. And number 3, pursue your legacy over your lifestyle. Don't chase short-term cash. Build long-term character. When you make decisions you can be proud of 10 years from now, God can trust you with more, and he will bless you because of that. So here's the bottom line. Chasing money creates pressure, but serving people creates profit. And when you put relationships first, the money has a funny way of taking care of itself. Because in God's economy, success isn't just measured in dollars, it's measured in impact. Habit number 4, I see this in so many people that never hit the goals they want to achieve. This is one of the most dangerous, smart habits in business. The idea that doing it all yourself is the best way to save money. Because on the surface, it sounds smart, right? Why pay someone else when you can do it yourself? Makes sense. You're scrappy, you're resourceful, you're capable. That's how you got here in the first place, right? That's how you made this much traction. But here's the problem. Just because you can do everything does not mean that you should. When you try to wear every hat, marketer, bookkeeper, designer, admin, sales, fulfillment, you end up busy, but you're broke. You're saving dollars, but you're losing days. You're protecting cash, but you're wasting capacity. Get this, because your time is the most expensive resource you have. And every hour you spend doing a $10 an hour task, it's costing you $100 in opportunities. And this is why a lot of entrepreneurs get trapped. They don't see the hidden cost of doing it all. They think they're saving money, but what they're really doing is limiting growth. Here's the truth. If everything depends on you, you don't own a business. You own a bottleneck. And that bottleneck is usually built out of fear. Fear that others won't do it as well as you. Fear of wasting money. Fear of losing control. But delegation is not a loss of control. It's leadership. It's trusting that God can work through other people, not just through you. But when you refuse to delegate, you're not protecting your business. You're suffocating it. Because the more you do in the business, the less you can do for the business. And I see this all the time. Entrepreneurs are doing their own bookkeeping when they should be building strategy. They're editing their own videos when they should be leading their team. They're managing every detail because they don't think they can afford the help. But in reality, they can't afford not to. Especially today, you can outsource high quality help from anywhere in the world for a fraction of what you'd spend locally. Whether it's a virtual assistant, a designer, editor, that investment buys back your time. And time is the auction of creativity and growth. So how do you know what to let go of first? Number 1, list your low return tasks. Write down everything that you're doing a week. Highlight what drains you or doesn't require a unique skill that you have. Those are the first things to delegate. Number 2, start small, then scale. You don't need to hire a full-time employee. Start with a contractor for a few hours a week. Test it, tweak it, and then grow it. And number 3, document this as you go. Record screen shares or write a quick SOP, a standard operating procedure. That makes it easy for someone else to step in and replicate your success. Here's the bottom line. Trying to do everything yourself isn't a sign of strength. It's a symptom of fear. And when you start trusting others and ultimately trusting God, you'll realize that multiplication only happens through collaboration because you can't grow what you won't release. Now, habit number 5. This is the final smart habit that keeps so many businesses broke. Inconsistency. You know the type. We've all been there. You post for a week straight, then you disappear for a month. You launch a new idea, but you never follow through on it. You start every Monday on fire, and by Friday, you're fried. And if you're being honest, you tell yourself, I'm just waiting for the inspiration. But here's the truth. Inconsistency kills more dreams than incompetence ever will. Because God doesn't bless occasional effort. He blesses faithful effort. You don't have to be perfect to see progress. You just have to be present long enough for your obedience to compound. Now here's the trap. Inconsistency feels smart because it's driven by logic. You tell yourself, I'm pivoting, I'm adjusting, I'm optimizing. But most of the time, you're just avoiding the boredom of repetition. You stop doing what works because it's not exciting anymore. You chase new ideas because you're tired of slow results. But here's the truth. Growth is not supposed to feel exciting all the time. It's supposed to feel steady. The Bible says that good planning and hard work lead to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty. That's not just about business plans. That's about consistency. It's saying the one who keeps showing up, even when it's slow, even when it's unseen, that's the person that God can trust to multiply. Because consistency is proof of stewardship. Think about the parable of the talents. Jesus tested 3 different people to see what they would do with something. The servants who doubled what they were given didn't perform miracles. They just stayed faithful with what they had. But the one who buried their talent and they didn't invest it, they didn't do anything with it, they lost everything. And it's not because they were lazy, it's because they were inconsistent with the assignment that was given to them. And that's the thing about inconsistency. It's not just about poor scheduling or bad habits. It's a trust issue. Because when you stop showing up, you're saying, God, I don't really believe this will work anymore. When you stay steady, you're saying, God, I trust your timing more than my feelings. And that's when your results are going to start stacking on top of each other. I've seen it over and over again. The entrepreneurs who win aren't always the most talented or the most creative, but they're the ones who just keep showing up when everybody else quits. They keep sending the emails. They keep making the calls. They keep posting content. They keep serving their clients even when it feels like nothing's happening because they know that consistency compounds. So if you want to break the inconsistency habit, here's how to start. Number 1, simplify before you systemize. You can't be consistent with chaos. Cut the clutter. Focus on one main offer, one message, one platform until you've got it perfect. Number 2, create rhythms, not routines. Routines feel rigid. Rhythms flow with purpose. Set consistent blocks for creation, connection, and rest that align with your energy and the season. And number 3, measure faithfulness, not just your results. Track how often you show up, not just what happens after you do. The results will follow the rhythm. So here's the bottom line. Consistency is where God compounds your calling. You don't need another big breakthrough. You just need to stay faithful with the one that you already have. Because slow, steady obedience beats scattered brilliance every single time. When you show up with consistency, God shows up with increase. So now that you've seen the 5 smart habits that keep businesses broke: over planning, saying yes to everything, chasing money over people, doing it all yourself, and living inconsistent. Each one looks small from the world's perspective, but it's the opposite of how the kingdom works. So let's talk about what to do next. If this hits home with you, your next step is to grab a free copy of the 12 Laws of Faith-Driven Success. I linked it down below. And if you really want to learn how to take control of your money, reclaim your time, and create consistent growth without working harder, watch the next video on your screen. It's the 3 hidden growth levers that solve every small business pain point. Because once you fix these smart habits, you'll have the clarity and focus to grow the right way. Remember this, wisdom will take you further than hustle ever could. So keep showing up, keep building with God, and I'll see you in the next video.